Hello everyone, this is 7th lecture on Income Tax 2. In today's class, we are going to understand how long-term capital gain is calculated. But before that, note down these two sums and try solving it at home. First sum is Mr. Samarth purchased shares of XYZ Limited on 29th April 2019 for rupees 1,80,000 and he sold them for rupees 2,50,000 on 20th March 2020. He has paid the brokerage charges of rupees 3,000. Calculate capital gain. This is a simple sum on short-term capital gain. That is, he has purchased shares on 29 April 2019 and has sold them on 20th March 2020. Means Samar has held these shares for less than 12 months. Therefore, he is holding short-term capital asset and whatever result arises will be short-term capital gain. Try solving this sum and also the second sum, that is Miss Pranavi submits the following particulars of her income for the previous year 2019-20. You are given two information. First is she had purchased land and building on 13th November 2018 for rupees 35 lakhs. She sold them for rupees 80 lakhs on 12th February 2020. She also paid commission to agent at 1% on sale proceeds. Second information is she sold her refrigerator for rupees 25,000 which was purchased on 30th July 2018 at rupees 50,000. Compute capital gains for the assessment year 2021. In this sum, in the first information, Pranavi has held land and building. Land and building is non-financial asset and the cut-off holding period for land and building is 24 months. So first you have to find the holding period of land and building by Miss Pranavi. That means you have to find out for how many months she is holding land and building. If she is holding it for less than 24 months, then it is short-term capital asset. If she is holding it for more than 24 months, then it is long-term capital asset. And in the second information, she has sold her refrigerator. Refrigerator is personal effect or personal asset. Therefore, you have to exempt it or ignore it while calculating or while solving the sum. These are the two sums that you are going to try solving it at home. In next class, I will be telling you the answers of both the sums. Coming to next part, as I told, we are going to understand how long-term capital gain is calculated. This is the format of computation of long-term capital gain. First we take full value of consideration. Full value of consideration is nothing but the amount of sale of the capital asset. From this we have to deduct expenses incurred in connection with transfer. Expenses incurred in connection with transfer such as registration fees, stamp duty, legal charges, brokerage, commission, etc. So when we deduct these expenses from full value of consideration, the balance remaining is known as net consideration. From net consideration we deduct two values. One is indexed cost of acquisition and second is indexed cost of improvement. When we were solving sums on short-term capital gain, you have come across the terms cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. But here as we are dealing with long-term capital asset, we have to consider indexed cost of acquisition as well as indexed cost of improvement, because the assessee holds the capital asset for a very long period of time. That is the reason indexation of the asset is required. I think when we practically solve these sums, you will understand these terms in better manner. So after deducting indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement, which is on or after 1/4/2001, from net consideration, the balance remaining is known as gross long-term capital gain. And from gross long-term capital gain, we have to deduct some exemptions, which are given under section 54, 54B, 54D, 54E, 54EC, 54F, 54G, 54GB and 54H if any. And the balance remaining is known as net long-term capital gain. There are certain important terms that we need to understand. One is indexing. Indexing is nothing but converting the old cost of asset into the present cost using cost inflation index. For example, you have purchased a land and building in the year 2010 for rupees 10 lakh. So the value or worth of land and building in year 2010 was 10 lakh rupees, but today its worth may not be same. Today its worth will be more than rupees 10 lakh. So finding cost of that land and building at the present date using cost inflation index is known as indexing. Next part is cost inflation index. Cost inflation index is index which is fixed by central government on the basis of consumer price index. And next is fair market value. Fair market value is if the asset was purchased or acquired by the assessee before the base date, that is before 1/4/2001, then the assessee is allowed for the option of fair market value as on 1/4/2001 or the actual cost of the capital asset, whichever is higher. These are some technical terms. You will understand these terms in better manner when we are solving sums and using these terms frequently. As I mentioned, cost inflation index are the index which are fixed by the central government itself based on consumer price index. This is the list of cost inflation index according to the financial years from 2001 to 2019-20. I request all of you to note down these cost inflation index in your notebook. So for financial year 2001-2, cost inflation index is 100, then 105, 109, 113, 117, 122, 129, 137, 148, 167, 184, 200, 220, 240, 254, 264, 272, 280, and for the previous year 2019-20 cost inflation index is 289. In format, we have seen that for two values we have to make indexation, that is for cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. So indexed cost of acquisition is calculated as cost of acquisition into cost inflation index for the year of transfer divided by cost inflation index for the year of purchase or cost inflation index of 2001 to whichever is later. and second one, index cost of improvement is calculated as cost of improvement into cost inflation index for the year of transfer divided by cost inflation index for the year of improvement. And the important note is, when you are calculating index cost of improvement, if any capital asset is improved prior to 1/4/2001, then cost of improvement is not taken. Cost of improvement is not taken means that has to be completely ignored while solving the sum.